And I think we are live. Guten Tag, everybody. Hi, Christy. Hi, Fletcher. Hi, Tonpa8088. Hello to Luxembourg. Hey, Steve. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Kellen. Nice to see you guys there. First things first, my setup is totally new today. So if you guys are having problems with audio or with video, please let me know. Hey, Mike. Greetings to Vienna. Hi, Tim. Hi, Simon. Hello to Singapore. Yes. As I said, please let me know if audio is working and video is working, because it is a bit unusual at the moment. Audio and video are great. Thanks for letting me know. All good? Perfect. I am very happy to have you guys around on this Saturday or Sunday afternoon, for me at least. Thank you for spending your time with me. And I think we'll directly dive in, because I'm really looking forward to that project. And I have already been delaying this project for more or less a week or so, because I did not have resin and stuff like that, but we'll come to that later. Hello to Prague. It works just laggy. That's unfortunate. It's currently telling me that we don't have any dropped frames, so if you guys are having issues, it should be your internet connection, not mine at the moment. Yes, as you might have already read in the description, today we are taking a look at a SLA or MSLA printer. And I'm really looking forward to that, because I already did a live stream working with one of these SLA, DLP or whatever printers, and it didn't really turn out that well. And also afterwards, I tried working with it. More or less none of the prints were working. So a couple of weeks ago, the Chinese company DAZZ 3D contacted me and told me, yeah, they're gonna have a Kickstarter where they will be releasing 2 SLA printers. And if I'm now talking about SLA, it's not the SLA you know from the Formlabs printers. It's more commonly known as DLP printer. This is actually an MSLA printer, so with an LCD screen and a UV LED below. And they were asking me if they can ship me one of their units, and if I can take a look at it and give them some feedback. So maybe to get this out first, this is a Kickstarter project, and this is a Kickstarter product. This has not been released yet. You can find a link to the Kickstarter in the description. Also in the description, there is a disclaimer. As always with Kickstarters, this might not be the final product you're getting if you are pledging for it. And this might also, or another way, DAZZ 3D might not even deliver their printer to their backers if they're getting bankrupt. And this has been happening quite a couple of times. So always be aware, if you are pledging at Kickstarters, that you are investing in a company, and if everything works out, you might get your reward. But if it's not working out for them, you might also not get your reward. Okay, perfect. So yeah, what I have right here, as I said, they have been releasing 2 SLA printers. There is the Pro version and the basic version. What I'm having right here is the basic version, which doesn't feature a touchscreen, and I'm really interested to see if we can get it to work without that touchscreen. This doesn't have auto dosing of the resin. This doesn't have a fume extractor, and all of the things the Pro version is getting. I think if you pledge for them on Kickstarter, this one is selling for $5.99 and the other one is selling for $8.99, but don't mark me on that. Just take a look at the Kickstarter if you're interested in that. Yeah, so I actually have, well, I got 3 deliveries. Once I have the printer, and then I also got delivered 3 more or less containers of resin. One is called the smoothness resin, one is called the rigid resin, and one is called the high temperature resin. Yeah, later we'll use one of them to get this thing working. I'll put them away for the moment, and we'll get to that later. Unboxing now. Some guys are telling me that the stream is dead, but I don't think so. It's still looking pretty good for me. Vertigo, yeah, you have seen that right. There is another pot on the Prusa, and finally today we are doing more Prusa sous vide cooking, because you have been asking for that in the last streams, and I am finally getting it back today. But we need to work before that. When the printer is working, we're gonna take a look at the contents of that pot, and I'm getting something to eat. Yeah, perfect. So, as I said, this is the box I got, and let's crack it open. I already cut it open just to see what's on the inside, because this was delivered to me like over a week ago, and I wanted to do a live stream right away, but I didn't know if they also sent me resin in this box, and they didn't send me resin, so I had to crack that open and take a look on the inside. All right. Oops. Okay, so no overhead camera today, but I'll get everything out and we'll take a look at it directly right here. So the first thing we are having, it is really nicely packed with lots of foam. The first thing we have right here is a box where we have network cable, power cable, we have a spray bottle, a scraper, and some other things which we might need later. All right, and ta-da! That was the unboxing. The box is already empty, so let's just toss that away. The other thing we're having right here is... Hey Tom, nice to see you here. Yes, if you guys don't already know, Thomas Sanladerer and I are hosting a podcast, and we have been releasing the first episode of that podcast yesterday. So if you want to check that out, head over to the Melt Zone podcast. Maybe somebody can post a link into the chat. Listen to it or watch it on YouTube and give us some feedback what you think about it. We want to make that a regular thing, where we talk about 3D printing and other technical stuff. This was our first try. It's not 100% perfect, but I think it's already pretty good. And the feedback would be nice for us, so just let us know. Hey D-Cool. Yes, the printer. So this has already been all of the unboxing. What we're getting, the box with the accessories and the printer itself in this nice orange color, which should block all of the UV light, so that the resin is only cured from, well, in the printer, but not from the light which is getting in here from the outside. Please excuse the crackling noise in a second when I unwrap that from the plastic. And yeah, let's take a look on the inside. Thank you, Jay, for the link. Phil, any idea how much the resin will cost? I think they said that on their Kickstarter page. The normal, just like standard resin, is, I guess, selling pretty cheap for like 20 bucks for 500 milliliters. The more advanced the resins are, like the high temperature stuff and the tough stuff, I guess they are selling for a higher price. But these resins are not proprietary. They are not only made for this printer. You can also use other resins that are UV curable and use that in that machine, as far as the description is telling me. What's the price of the printer? Oh, thanks, Steve. So the price of that printer is in the Kickstarter $5.99, I guess. They are aiming towards a resale a price which is a little higher. I think also in the $1,000 range, but check out the Kickstarter page. Everything is in there. Sorry. Okay, and there we have it. Let me switch to the second camera. Did it switch? Sorry guys, I am really not used to the new Streamlabs OBS Studio. Why is it not changing? Ah, there you go. Sorry, guys. Okay. So what we can see is a really nice orange cover. It looks as if it is injection molded. Yeah, not 100% sure there. Which is oh yeah, with nice hinges on the back, which you can open. Nice. These were just for the packing or for shipping. It has already a resin-like smell, and there are some residues in here. So I guess the guys from DAZZ 3D, they were using this in their development phase and then shipping it out to me. The vat is quite nicely secured with these both these handles, and yeah, you can just take it out of there. Pretty nice. Below here we have the LCD screen. I think it's a 144p screen, but don't mark me on that. I think the resolution is even higher than a 1080p screen. Okay. For everyone who has already been working with a DLP printer or a MSLA printer, down here we have a piece of, well, translucent plastic. It's called, I think, FAB. and this is held with a couple of screws in here. Okay. Yes, Esther, sorry. 1400p, yeah. Thanks, Steve. Hey, 3D Guzner. Okay, let's take a look on the back. So at first, we have some really nice rubber feet down here, and it feels quite nice on the table. It doesn't rattle around. The back of the printer is really nice. How do you say? It's brushed aluminum. Looks really, really pretty. We have a couple of holes right here in the back, which is probably used for the cooling fan of the UV LED. We have USB, we have LAN, and 24 volts, 24 volt DC jack for getting that thing to work. Nice. All right. Let's see. Okay. All right, so I guess we just continue. There are a couple of zip ties up here to hold the whole print plate assembly into place. I'll just get some snippers and snip that off. So as I have already said before, I have already been using a similar printer from another company, and it was just horrible. My whole house was smelling. None of the prints really worked out, so so far I didn't have any good experiences with DLP or MSLA printing, so I'm really looking forward if this printer is better. Okay, just snip that off. Okay, so let's see how this thing right here is held into place. As I said, this looks used. This is a pre-production unit. So I will get myself a couple of gloves because SLA resin is just nasty and I just don't want to get that on my fingers. Okay, let's see. I don't want to kill that. I think there's quite a nice mechanism in the back. Let's maybe switch to the second camera. Where's my mouse? There we go. Okay. Oh yeah. So there's a really nice spring-loaded tab right here in the back. Oh, and this is actually using magnets. And if I push that back, can I get? How can I release that? I think this is the right thing, but maybe the resin, which has been sitting in here for a while, just yeah, stuck everything in place. Okay, so this is it. This is a pretty nice system, and I think the way they are wearing it right here at these two locations, and a third right here. This could be a statically determined system, so you maybe would not even need to to home that or to level the build plate every time. So that is pretty nice. Okay, yeah, that's in here. All right, perfect. Maybe before we are taking a look at the manual, let's take another look at the accessory box. Yes, so who was it? Steve Evans was asking whether the whole mechanism is out of aluminum. Yeah, this is all machined. This is all machined aluminum. So there we go. This is all machined aluminum up here, and it looks pretty nice. It's sandblasted, so it has this real nice matte surface. We don't have a ball screw in the back. I gotta say that. I don't know if the Pro version comes with a ball screw. We have 2 linear guides, and actually there is an optical end stop back here, which is also probably the reason why you might not need to level this for each print. Thanks, Levansky, for the $5. Hi to Florida. And yeah, thank you for liking the Fusion 360 tutorial. I can't really see if these are branded linear guides, but I am quite sure that they are not. They are probably only the standard Chinese stuff, but I can say that. Or wait. No, it's just saying MGN12. Okay, sorry guys. Let's continue and open the accessory box. As I said, network cable. This is the way we will connect the printer to the laptop. As soon as the files were sent to that machine, we can disconnect it. So not like with one of the first kind of these printers that you always had to have the printer connected to the laptop. This can run autonomously. Yeah, normal electric plug, a 24 volt power supply, spray bottle, USB dongle, some I think these are just business cards. More business cards, or no, they are actually these are actually resin tank scrapers. These are not business cards. One's in English and one's in Chinese. Okay, yeah, maybe we need these, so I leave them out. This is all fine, and let's just get that out of the way. Okay. So, as I said, I received this printer like a week ago. I haven't really gone into details how to set that up. I just know that we need to install the software on, well, a PC or maybe even a laptop. And this is the way we control everything. Because we need to connect this one over network to the laptop, and I don't want to interrupt the stream. I've prepared my second laptop that we can hopefully use to set everything up, and this won't interrupt anything in the stream. All right. So let's just turn this thing on. As I said, this is a pre-production unit. I have checked the USB drive. There wasn't any software or manuals on that. DAZZ 3D, they sent me just a big zip folder with the manual and everything. We'll take a look at that in a second in order to see how to set everything up. And yeah, then we'll be printing something, hopefully. So just give me a second and let me plug that in. And get the other boxes out of the way. So I will also be plugging in the printer just to see if the connection and everything works. What am I cooking on the Prusa? So I have some really nice beefsteaks in there, but I said to myself I'll only get them if I get the printer printing. No grilled cheese. Okay, let's plug that in. Yeah, maybe just to say another thing about how this feels. It looks pretty nice. It feels really sturdy with the nice brushed aluminum backing, with the nice, I don't know, maybe even injection molded acrylic cover. Looks really nice. Okay. So everything is plugged in, but the printer is, at least at the moment, not doing anything. Middle key. In SLA printers, resolution in theory always greater than FDM printer can achieve. Most of the time, yes, because in these printers the resolution is determined by the size of the pixels. They are around 20 micron in size, compared to a nozzle diameter of an FDM printer, which is for an 0.4 millimeter nozzle 400 microns. That's a factor of 50 more in resolution, and also you're usually working with thinner layers, which leaves you with a nicer result in the end. Okay, so let's see if I can show you everything. So what I received, sorry, didn't really organize all of that stuff. Okay, desktop. Yes, so what I actually received is a folder with the printing files, the slicing software, and the manual. And I think we'll start with the manual at first, because the manual will tell us something about the setup process of the printer. Okay. All right. So, well, at first glance, the instruction manual looks quite nice, maybe a little bit Chinglish, like forming platform and some other terms. Okay, what we want to do is we want to use the LAN connection. So the first thing we want to do is connect the printer with power, and we want to connect the printer with a network cable. Okay, so main camera again. So the thing which is concerning me a little is that the printer at the moment doesn't make any noise and none of the lights are working. So I hope this is not a dad. But everything seems to be plugged in, so I'll just give it a try. Does anyone know the resolution of the LCD? So the resolution of the LCD is 1400p, so this is a bit higher than full HD. It's 1440 by 2560 pixels or something like that, which results in a pixel size or a voxel size of around, I think, 20 micron cubed. But you can check that on the Kickstarter page. Ooh. Really nice network cable with with covers. Yeah, Tom, this is why I'm not connecting that printer to my home network and end up being a Bitcoin miner. That is the reason why I directly connect that printer to my old laptop. So hopefully I don't screw anything up. Okay. Maybe still turn Wi-Fi off and connect that. Okay. As I said, I still don't see anything, so I am still a little bit scared if it is working at all. So the next thing I need to do is network and internet settings, Ethernet. Let's see, maybe I'll do that off screen. So, well, actually, you couldn't even see that because I'm doing that on my other PC. Okay, Ethernet. Ethernet is telling me that it's not connected. That is not a good start. Ethernet. Well, it's telling me that the network cable has been disconnected, so it's plugged in here, but as I said, there's nothing blinking here in the back, nothing moving there, which is a bit unfortunate. Just give me a second. I'll check the connection here again. This thing doesn't have any switches. This is plugged in. And to be honest, can you see that? This LED is not working. The question now is only the cable a dud or is the whole power brick broken? I think I have another power cable somewhere around here. Just give me a second. So this might be really anticlimactic if it's not working at all. Let's see. Ooh, Ooh, now it's working. Okay. Now it's working and making noises. No magic smoke so far. But that cable was broken. All right. And network is also blinking, so we are one step closer. Let's see. So what I have to change is the internet options. Just give me a second. Okay, in order that you can also see what I'm seeing. Yeah, stake chances are increasing. Okay, so I will change some IP settings. Actually, the ones they are telling me right here. Set the IP as shown, so it's 111. 110.0.2. The subnet mask is 255.255.0.0 and the standard gateway is 192.168.0 and 1. There we go. Fabian, what cam and mic am I using? I am using a Rode Video Mic Pro for audio right here, and I use my GH5 on a tripod to and one of these HDMI to USB converters to capture video. Okay. Okay. So, the next thing they are telling us is that I need to open the software and I haven't installed that. So I will be doing that right now. What they have given me, maybe switch back to my desktop. I have this whole folder with printing files, so these are just some STLs we maybe are printing later, the instruction manual and the slicing software, and I'll start that DAZZ, or I'll install that DAZZ software now right here. You can see where I'm pointing, right here on that secondary laptop I'm using. Okay, so just give me a second. Slicing software. 7 extracts. I'm really interested to see the software, if they are using the same software as also most of the other resin printer manufacturers are using, or if they really did something on their own. Okay, DAZZ. DAZZ wants to have admin rights on my PC. Yes. Chinese license agreement, of course I agree. And let's install everything. Okay, and run it. Let's see. Let's see, maybe I can position my secondary. Oh, damn it. I'll try to position my secondary camera maybe in a way that you can also see what is on the screen. So the first problem I'm actually running into is that all of this is Chinese. And I have no clue where I can change anything. Damn it. Okay, so you guys just let me check the user manual where I can maybe see how I can change the language, because this kind of is horrible at the moment. It's telling me nothing about software. Support. Why is this all Chinese? Oh, there we go. Language. Where can I change the language? Build model properties, settings, device settings, upgrade hardware. But where do I find that? Hey Paul, by the way, yeah, I think learning Chinese would be a bit much for today's live stream. Accuracy settings. Oh, this is really dumb. Where do I find the language settings? Okay guys, let me show you something. So this right here is the manual, and in the manual it says that I am able to change the language. Currently it's too simple Chinese and English, which allows users to upgrade language settings of the software. The software language default is Chinese. User can upgrade firmware. Oh my goodness, tools window. Ah, yes, Google Translate on my phone, you are right. I actually have Google Translate on my phone, let me see. We wanna translate Chinese, ABCD Chinese to English with the camera. Oops. Okay. Let's see. Select everything. Help. Create basic model. Language. Device. So now is the question, which of these is language? I think this might be, yeah, there we go. English. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this wasn't a perfect start. Okay. So I think we're back in business, and there is still the possibility that I can get myself a steak later. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look how we can proceed in the manual. Instruction manual. There we go. Okay, so we have connected everything. I'll select the appropriate printer here. And devices. And it's actually, let me change the camera again. It's shown right here. So they say it should be connected to the printer. So I should be connected to the printer, and that's quite good. All right. Okay, so I think setting up everything is okay. The next thing for us will be, I don't know, let's see if this thing is moving, actually. Let's see if there is a way to just move any of the axes and see if it's working in general. Give me 1 second, please. So... what is the manual actually saying? Load, scale, rotate, support, upload to printer. Tools, device, create basic model, device setup tool. Damn it. So I just went into one of the... This is dumb. Okay. Devices, create basic model. I think maybe it's the best thing to just load one of the models and see if it works. If everything's working, I'll pour in some of the resin and we give it a try. Okay. I'll open one of the models. I don't know if you're able to see that. Let me zoom in a little. And let me get my mouse. So, for the sake of time, I'll just be printing one of the smaller models. Let's see. There we go. This is, or looks like, a just like a really small figurine. Can I move that around? Let's scale. Let's see. Scale, rotate. This also has already all of the supports on the inside, because I am not really aware what you need to do in order to create the supports for that DLP printer. I need to figure that out later. Well, so I haven't figured out yet how I can really move that figurine around, but, well, don't bother. Okay. Some of you guys have been complaining about the refresh rate of my screen, so I'm just switching back at the moment, for the moment. I'll get back to the manual and just see what we need to do in order to send everything to the printer and give it a try. So, open the box, pour the resin in, build new software project, load model in for printing, upload scenario content, lay out the models. Okay, so I select devices. Let me switch to my secondary camera back again, just that you can maybe see what I'm doing. So I have just positioned the model on the build plate. I've selected the printer right here in the list. Select running printer, select ready printer. And now I think I can just send the scene. I can choose between different resolutions from 25 microns all the way up to 100 microns. I guess I'll be just choosing the mid-range of 50 micron, that it doesn't take that long. File name prefix, I think this is fine, and just hit OK. So it's slicing now. Ooh, and it's working. So I haven't poured in any resin so far, just because I wanted to know if everything is working, but I don't know if you can hear it in the background. Everything is moving. Oh, thank you, Joka. So again, guys, this is an SLA printer. It's a so-called MSLA printer, masked SLA printer, which means that down here there is a resin vat. Below that resin vat is an LCD screen, which is masking the light, which is coming from a UV LED, which is all the way down here. What's happening then is that when we fill up resin into that printer, the UV is curing some of the resin. The build plate lifts a little bit. New resin can get back into place there. The build plate comes down again to the right layer thickness, and then the next layer is more or less cured. Yeah, so at the moment I'm dry printing, just to see if it works in general. It has been coming down for the first layer. Usually the first layers are exposed longer, that they properly stick to the print bed. So we'll just give that maybe a minute to see if it comes back up again. And if that is working, I'll just, cancel the print, pour in some resin, and then we give it a try. Okay. To be honest, I don't have any clue how I can home that machine, or how I can even just stop the printing process. Maybe I need to take a look at the manual, that I don't only need to, that I'm not only just pulling the plug. Device manager. Anybus, oh yeah, it's moving. It's moving. So it's moving up a little, and it's coming back down. Doesn't look too bad. So I guess we are fine. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Okay. Let me switch the cameras again, and I'll show you when a new layer is done, how everything moves. Steve, did I have to level it? No, I did not have to level it. It came pre-leveled, but it might have been a good idea to do that in the first place. I guess the second layer is also exposed for quite a while. So what's it doing? Still first layer. So maybe just wait for another second. I think it's still working on that first layer. Might try to expose the first layer for, yeah, our first 2 layers for a bit more time. Ah, yeah, there we go again. So it's lifting up slowly and it's getting back down. Now we are on the second layer, or third. Okay, perfect. I think that's working. So I'll just get back into the software and hit the stop button. So I'm aborting that print. Let's see. Debugging, motor debugger. Let's switch the camera. So I'm back in the software. Hopefully, well, yeah, you might still be able to see some flickering, but the brightness has been turned up all of the way. So the thing I want to do now is I want to rise everything, but I don't know how that works in the beginning. So let's say clean, one click cleaning. Oh, damn it. Debugging, status, models, resin. Debugging, motor debug. Can I? Laser debug, scripper debug. Well, it's working at the moment. I have stopped the print, but the question is, how can I raise the build plate again that I am able to pour in the resin? No, it's still running. Ah, there we go. So it actually took a while. Yeah. Do you see that? Okay. So I guess we are fine now. Just the first couple of layers, they were exposed for a bit longer in order that I guess they stick better to the printing platform. Let's go back to this camera. So I guess what we are doing now is I'll pour in some resin and we'll start all over again. I need to see if I still need to choose which of the resins I am using. I don't know. It's not really the best software I have seen so far, I gotta be honest. Devices. Configuration, no resin was chosen, G03. I don't know. It is, there are some presets in there. They told me to use their HT3 resin. So we will pour that in here and just restart the print and see if it's working. Andy, if you take a look at the Kickstarter page, there are two versions. There's the Pro version of this one, there's the Pro version of the DAZZ 3D L120, and there is the basic version, and this is the basic version, which is cheaper. Okay, so just give me 1 second. I'll get my gloves on, and I'm quite interested to smell if the resin is as nasty as with the other one I had before. First glove, second glove. Okay, let's open this. Maybe it's also a good idea to clean the build plate a little with isopropanol. Okay, yeah, I'm still here. What I will be doing is I'll add some isopropanol to that bottle, because that's easier for me to work with then. Okay, this is good. And this is a really nice mechanism, so I'll just tilt that back, and then I actually was able before to get that out of here. Perfect. So this is the build platform. Let's just get some isopropanol on here. Clean that up. Get that back in here. Lock everything in place. And pour some of the resin in. So the resin I'll be using is the high temperature saffron yellow one. Do you guys think I should shake that before I use it? This might get me some air bubbles in here, but I don't know. This has been sitting on an airplane and shelf and everything for quite a while, so I don't know if something is separating. Stir? Yeah, might have been the better idea. Well, it's too late now. Just roll it. Shake it. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. Okay, yeah, maybe I screwed up there, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah, still has quite a nasty smell. This is something which I just really don't like about these kinds of printers. That your whole house is smelling, I don't know, just after that resin. Wait, so that you can see it better. There we are. I'll pour some of the resin in. It looks quite nice. There we go. Some bubbles are in here, but I think it's not too bad. So I don't pour really that much in here because I don't want that to flow over. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, yeah, I guess I'll close this up again and I give printing another try. So I'm now here in the software. and yeah, just started the print that we have been slicing before. The interesting thing is that it wasn't homing. I don't know if this is bad or not. I don't know if I'll crash into the LCD now, but yeah, we'll figure that out. So controls are, yeah, not really good. And this is one of the things I also really don't like about these printers, that they're not that straightforward to use as, for example, just FDM printers nowadays. Yeah. So it made quite a nasty noise. I don't know if the first layer is not too squished. We'll see. That's too much resin in the vat. Is it really? I don't know. As I said, I haven't been working with these printers a lot because the other one I already own, which I don't actually even remember the name of that company. It was horrible. It didn't work. None of the prints stuck to the build plate. It was just a piece of garbage. So what it will do now is it will be exposing the first couple of layers for a longer amount of time, that they hopefully stick better to the print platform. And after the first couple are finished, the exposure of each layer should be around, I don't know, maybe 10-15 seconds. We might be able to take a look at the parameters which are in the background to figure that out. Let me see. Resin. TrueTag. Wonder how difficult it would be to form Futura a DIY resin. To formulate a DIY resin. I don't know. Oh, now it's rising and it's getting back down. I actually need to see if I can... Well, I don't see any UV light at the moment. Yeah, just we'll just leave that running now and see if we will get something. This is maybe not the most interesting thing to take a look at, but that's just how resin printers work. You don't really know if your print was successful until it's finished. Ignore my chan. Was that a hidden Form Futura advertising? Actually not. I misread that, but Form Futura, they have also been kickstarting or Indiegogoing a resin 3D printer, and they also want to get into that market. I haven't really taken a detailed look on that printer, but yeah, they are also making something. Sorry. So yeah, second layer is still taking quite a long time to expose. It's at least 30 to 60 seconds. I need to see where I can edit the settings. G3. Oh, so it's moving again. And it's continuing. Tom A. Hogg, how does it know when the printer is empty or when the resin is empty and you need to fill it up for larger objects? So the printer won't know. It's at least this one is a kind of dumb machine. You have to take a look at it, and if you see that there is not enough resin anymore in the vat, you need to pour something in again. Actually, taking a look at the new Prusa printer, they have a resin sensor in their vat, which I don't know if it only prevents overfilling the vat or if it also prevents the resin running too low. If you are buying the Pro version of this one, there is an automatic refill system somehow included in the vat, which I don't know how it's working, but with that one you more or less take your bottle of resin, put it upside down next to the printing vat, and as soon as there is not enough resin anymore, new resin will just run out of the bottle, and fill the vat back up. Nick Media Design. Hey Stefan, did you ever buy FFF World filament for your FFF printers? No, I have not. Oh, at least I hear something, and this is usually a good sign because that means that something is releasing from the fab film, which is below or above the LCD screen. But if all of these layers are now taking like 1 minute, I think I won't be finished until tomorrow morning. I actually want to add a new, well, I actually would like to take a look at the parameters in the background, but it does not let me take a look at them. At 36 millimeters an hour, that wouldn't be too bad because, let's see, I don't know, we have, I think the figurine is just like this size, so 36 millimeters an hour would be totally fine, but at the moment it's doing like 1 layer every 5 minutes, which is too slow for me. Let me see, configs. So it doesn't let me take a look at the parameters. It doesn't take me look at the parameters while this printer is running. Too many laptops right here. Tom, And what to do when the printer is finished and there is resin left? Can you pour it back into the bottle for reuse, or do you have to throw it away? You can reuse the resin. I think it's not recommended to just pour the used resin back into your normal bottle. Just get another one, an empty one, pour it back in there, and well, store it in a really dark place that it doesn't cure or further cure. It's still running really slow. Okay, so I think so in the manual, let me switch back to here. So in some of the recommended settings, they are saying initial layers, the number of initial layers is 5. So I guess it will be doing a long exposure for the first 5 layers, and then it will continue with a short exposure time. So I think maybe this is the last one. After that, it will be quicker. What is the build volume? That's actually a good question. Show. 4.7 by 2.6 by 5.9 inches. I have no clue what that is in millimeters. Oh, sorry guys, wrong window. This is the camera. Let's see, it's still pretty slow. I hope that this is really the last one. Thanks, Alex, for the conversion rate. So like 120 millimeters by like 66 by 149. So it's not huge, to be honest. But the thing is, this process is usually used for quite small parts. So usually you don't print really big figurines and things like that. Once because it's slow, and secondly because the resin is quite expensive. So these then the small build volume is most of the time sufficient. And there's the thing with the resolution. If you would have a bigger print volume, you would need to use a bigger LCD screen. And with a bigger LCD screen comes the problem that if you stay at the same resolution, the pixels will get bigger, so your printing resolution will get worse. Or you need to use an even higher resolution screen, and these are more expensive. Maybe, yeah, as I said before, so the resin is still quite smelly. I still don't really want to use such a printer in my office where I'm working all of the time, because it's nasty. You always have this sweet smell in the air. The Pro version comes with a charcoal filter, I think, that might get rid of some of the fumes, but probably still not all of that. And this is really one of the downsides. All right. So we should be at the 6th layer at the moment, but it's still pretty slow. Hey Ashik. so I have to admit this is quite boring at the moment. I don't know why it's still that slow, because, well, if it stays to be that slow, we won't be finished until tomorrow. But let's see, maybe just wait for the next 5 or 10 layers, and if this is not working, I gotta stop that again and see if the parameters are right. There is no LCD screen in the front. No, this is the basic version that doesn't have one, and this is really a downside, because the software I'm using right here to control it from my laptop is kind of not user-friendly. You always need to connect it either to your Wi-Fi network or directly via cable, and this is the way how you control it. So yeah, this is not something you can just put out in your garage and control it from somewhere else. Can you cook sous vide with this technology? No, I'm sorry. If you want to cook sous vide, you have to use an FDM printer. Next layer. So we have finished 7 of 860 layers, but we are still horribly slow. And I don't really know why. I don't know if I would have needed to change the resin parameters, but I would suspect that this printer should come with some presets that are working. What is the time per layer? I think at the moment we have like 2 to 3 minutes per layer at a layer height of 50 micron. So our print will take quite a while. Yeah, sorry, this is really boring. I don't know, I think I will abort that print now, because this is just taking too long. But maybe then we can already see if it has been working, and if there are already some layers that have fused to our build plate. So yeah, just I'll cancel the current print. It will take, I think it will do that after the next layer is finished, so we need to wait at least for another couple of minutes. But yeah, still not the most pleasant experience for me. It's smelly, the software is, there we go. Change the camera. Well, at least one thing, the orange resin looks pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, sorry, this wasn't really that much fun. Let me check the parameters in here. Okay, initial layers 5, initial exposure time, initial layers 8. Okay, so we were, I think, almost there. Damn it. 0.05. Okay, guys. I'm sorry. We might have been almost at that place. Let me change the cameras again. I have just been loading the presets, and in the preset it tells me that at a layer height of 50 microns it will do 8 initial layers. We have been doing 7, so I think it would have been almost finished. Damn it. So let's see. 5. It is telling me just the package parameters. GO3, GO3. Let me see, 4,000, 6,000. Light exposure time, 15,000. So I think this is all in milliseconds. So the exposure time initial is 60 seconds, so 1 minute, and then later it's 15,000 milliseconds, so that would be 15 seconds. Hey Tom, nice to have you back here. So I'm still struggling with that printer. That's quite unfortunate. Yeah, as I have already been telling you, there are some suggested parameters right here in the manual, and I think I'll change them this way, and hopefully we will get better print results. Maybe before we do that, let's take a look at the print platform if anything has been sticking there. Okay, so let me get my gloves back on. Okay, let's open this thing up. It really has a nasty smell, but it was working. I think there you can see it. The only question now is, how do I get rid of that again? Change the camera angle a little. Okay, so I think I'll just use, yeah. So this was the print, sorry. This was the print that had been sticking to the build platform. Yeah, I just should have waited a little bit longer. I was too impatient. But anyways, I'll hook that back up to the printer. My hands are already really nasty and full of resin. Yeah, this is so dirty. Yeah, we have everything back into place. I think I'll adjust the parameters as they are shown in the manual, and then we'll start the print back up. So, what are they telling me? 255.0, 4,000, 6,000, 5,000 exposure time. For the initial layers, 50,000. Initial layers 8, initial layers 5. Light strong 1,500. Motor distance. The rest stays pretty much the same. Okay. Okay, I've just been fiddling around a little bit with the parameters. Damn it. Oh, come on. The only thing I really changed was the number of initial layers, which I changed to 5 as they are telling me in the manual. So what I will do now is I'll slice the model again, send it back, and then we will just restart the print. I'm sorry. So this is fine. I'll select the printer and we'll send the scene with the proper layer heights. Okay, and I guess we are back into business. So the only thing I now did was changed the number of initial layers from 8 to 5. So I do now know that after 5 layers it should start reducing the exposure time, and then we might get a result a little bit faster. Steve, yeah, the smell is really nasty. It's still the same thing. I don't like it. I think I will never like it. I think my whole house is currently smelling after that really sweet resin, and I don't know if I can really enjoy my steak later. Gloves, yes, I was using gloves, and you always should use gloves with these kinds of resins, because they can be really nasty to your skin, that you get that you're getting hyper allergic, I think it's called. So yeah, always pay attention. Tom, yeah, it smells, it's messy, and well, part removal isn't a bad thing, but you have to clean all of the parts after the print was finished with usually isopropanol, and then totally cure it under UV light, that it doesn't have that sticky texture anymore. I don't know, I still think that this technology is not really made for the masses. You really need to commit if you want to get into resin 3D printing, because at best put this thing somewhere outside in a garage or something like that. Don't use it in your office, don't use it somewhere near where you are eating or anything like that. It's still nasty. I don't know. I still don't like it. These are actually latex gloves. Damn it. Thanks for telling me, Tom. There were some... Were there actually some gloves? No, there were not any gloves sent to me in that printer. I don't know if they will do that for the released version, but in my package right now there wasn't anything included. Let's see. But actually in here what should be delivered is some disposable gloves. Haven't been in my package. What's 5? Is that a funnel? Disposable filter. So they actually will, or they're actually saying that they will send you some filters to filter your resin when you are pouring it back into a container, that none of the already cured resin well, stays in your kind of new resin. "3D possible, perfect for small stuff or miniatures or jewelry." Yes, it has. You get incredible details out of these printers. This is something what FDM printers just are not able to do or not able to produce. But it's usually a kind of slow process, and again, it's nasty. What kind of gloves should we use then? I don't know, maybe Tom, you can answer that, but I think nitrile gloves could be more suitable. How would you compare it to a Formlabs SLA printer? To be honest, I have never been working with a Formlabs SLA printer so far. I have heard, and I kind of know that the software they deliver with the printer is really good, and this is making the Formlabs printer much more accessible and easier to use. I have heard that their resins do not smell as much as some of the maybe cheaper Chinese ones. The technology is a little different because they are using a laser to cure the resin instead of an LCD screen, or LCD screen in connection with UV LEDs. It's more expensive if you buy a Formlabs printer together with the together with the curing station and the washing station. It will set you back 5,000 or 6,000 euros, which is quite expensive. Yeah, if you have the money, I would always go with a Formlabs printer at the moment. If you want to spend the money if you really want to work with resin, because they have really good software. Their resins are expensive, so you pay between 100 and 200 bucks per liter of resin. But yeah, in the end, if it's working, I think it's worth the money. Steve, is there any feedback on the PC app progress bar? Yes, there is. Let me change the camera to the other position. So this right here is more or less the progress menu. It tells me which model I'm printing. Start time, I don't really care. Use time, I hope that would mean how long the print will take, 1 hour 36 minutes, which would be okay. And the current progress, which is at 0% and 3 of the 860 layers. Yes. One of the things which I also don't really like, there isn't any feedback at all on the printer itself. The casing is nice, it really looks very, very, well, it doesn't look cheap. The brushed aluminum and everything, the hinges, but yeah, besides the USB plugs and the network connection, there isn't anything where you can see the progress, and this is, I don't know, kind of bad. I actually do not even know what happens if I disconnect that laptop, which is currently connected over land to that printer. I suppose it would continue, but I'm not 100% sure. So again, we should have 5 layers that are exposed for 60 seconds each. And after that, the exposure time should be reduced to 15 seconds. And as soon as this thing is going faster, I am thinking about getting something to eat. Steve, well, I have power saving enabled on that laptop, but I think and I hope that this network connection is not required. Some of the first printers that were around, first LCD resin printers that were around, were directly connected via HDMI to your PC, so nothing could happen there. But actually in here there's a Raspberry Pi, which is doing all of the work. And as I said, none of the network connection should be required. So we are in layer 5 at the moment. Let's see if something is happening after that. And I am also not 100% sure if I really uploaded the new settings. If after layer 5 it's still curing each layer for a minute, I didn't change anything due to maybe the really bad interface we're having. And we need to wait for 8 layers to pre-cure. Steve, I think a Raspberry Pi in these LCDs printers is quite common. Also the other ones, or the other one that I have, and also for example, I think the Anycubic Photon also has some kind of Linux SoC in there, which is doing all of the work, which is handling the LCD screen, which is handling the interface you have in the front, and which enables you to run that printer untethered. So layer number 5 is done. Let's see if we see any changes. This is so boring. Oh, no. It's actually faster now. So this was layer 6. Geo3. So now it's actually faster. So I really changed the settings. Tom, I don't have Wireshark on my laptop right here. It is currently only connected via the LAN cable to my laptop, and my laptop is not connected via Wi-Fi to my home network. So I hope that this printer is not, well, communicating with any Chinese servers or something like that. But this might be a really interesting thing to take a look at, because you don't want to have one of these printers at home being something like a part of a bot network. So it's working. We are printing a small figurine. We haven't done that much so far. We are at layer 10 of 860, so it will take quite a bit of more time. I don't know if we will finish it today. Maybe I'll just abort it after a couple of maybe 100 layers that we can take a look at the first result. My thoughts about this printer so far is that at least the printer itself is nicely built, but still the same as with all of the other ones I have been working with, software is horrible. It's hard to control. It was Chinese in the beginning. We at first had to figure out how we can change the language. Yeah, this is something that I really just hate about these printers. And working with resin, also with this thing, is still nasty. Everything is horribly smelling in here. Currently we are working with a 15-second cure time, which was the default. At the moment I can't really tell if something is releasing from that. At least I don't hear anything. Yeah, this is also something, especially if you're working with these resins which you can't really look through, that you don't know if your print is working until it's actually finished. So you just have to trust that everything is working out. Yes. So let's see. We are at layer 15. I think I will make the table a bit free and maybe I can grab something to eat now. If you have just joined the live stream, there is something cooking on the Prusa there, some sous vide good steaks, which well, I'll sear in a second and get myself something to eat. Trisha, yes, this is a traditional DLP SLA printer. For this reason, it is not continuously curing the resin. It is curing layer by layer, rising up and getting back down again for the next layer. I don't actually know if I can pause the print in here. I would like to do that later, just to take a look at the result, or if something is working and don't have to kill the whole print, but I might need to take a look at the manual for a second and figure that out. But since we are speaking about that, let's see. File, functional area, printer lists. Let me see if I can find something how we can pause the print. Cross-section check. So these are the software instructions. Let's take a look at the instructions. Slicing software control panel. Control panel instructions. Okay, print status. We have been there. Model list, resin list, history, system settings. Unfortunately, this is a scanned document and I can't search for any words in there. Light source adjustments, resin list, print status. Click print status. So, resin button. Switch between side view, click the model list. I don't see that there is the possibility to pause the print at the moment. Unfortunately. But debugging settings status. Ah, this interface is horrible. We are already at 2%, 24 of 860 layers. Yeah, that's not really exciting. But yeah, maybe to make it more exciting, I'll clean the desk a little. And I'll get myself something to eat. Which actually I'm not really that keen at the moment with all of the resin around here. But yeah. Living on the edge. Let's see. Get that a bit to the side. Guys, I'll be back in a second. I'll wash my hands first because I don't want to touch my food with yeah, residues of resin on my hand. I am back. Yeah, sorry guys. Again, this is not the most interesting thing to currently take a look at. I just thought about calculating how long it will take to print that model. So we have around 800 layers left. We have 15 seconds exposure time per layer, so that's 400 so 4 layers a minute. In order to do 800 layers, that would take us 200 minutes, and 200 minutes, that is 3.5 hours. Ew. That is pretty long. Okay. Yeah. As much as I hate eating next to that printer, I still think that I'll get the things out of the Prusa sous vide cooker and eat some steak. If you guys are vegetarian, I am very sorry, but maybe you gotta look away for a second. So what I did there is actually a pot on the printer, and the print plate is set to a specific temperature in order to have the water in here being 55 degrees, which is perfect for a medium steak. The steak itself is vacuum sealed in a plastic bag, just how you do it with sous vide cooking. And the nice thing now will be that I have a perfectly medium steak made on a 3D printer. So I'll just cut that open, sear it, and then eat it. I actually have two steaks in here because the queen of the house also wants to get something to eat. Please don't hit the thumbs down button. Since this has been becoming a cooking show now, but I think this is for the moment more interesting than taking a look at the resin vat, which is just moving upwards and downwards all of the time. Okay, they already feel pretty good. We need to sear it, so I have a burner right here. That's why it's called CNC Kitchen. And also do the other side. I don't know if resin is burning. It's the high temperature resin, so I should be okay. Okay, I think we are all set. Sorry again to the vegetarians. There is the gorgeously smelling steak, or the two steaks, which should be medium. Let me get the other one to the queen. Hello? Steak? This is a much better smell in here. I don't know how many thumbs down button that has cost. But sorry guys, I have to eat. It's late at night. I haven't had something so far. Taking a look at the resin that is boring at the moment. So I get myself something to eat. Wait a second. This is a perfect steak. You can be happy that you don't have any smell-o-vision at the moment, because that is awesome. – 55 degrees on the Prusa. Perfect medium steak. Couldn't be better. By the way, we are at 5% of our print. 50 of the 860 layers are done. Oh, that tastes so great. Maybe that you can also see what's happening in the printer. Still same boring movement, upwards, downwards, upwards, downwards. Sorry. Yes, I'm having my dinner. So we are currently at layer 53. The nice thing, I'll show you that in a second, is that I have kind of a progress bar, and that progress bar is actually showing me at which location of the model I am. And that is at least something which is quite cool about the interface we're having right here. Andy, 2 hours at 60 degrees Celsius. No, that is way too hot. That will get you a well done steak. For such a small steak, like an hour at 55 degrees Celsius, water temperature is totally perfect. Unfortunately, I don't know how I can pause the print. Maybe that is working with the play button it's showing me, but I would like to wait at least a couple of more layers until we do that. Okay, that is it. I'm very sorry to bother you or to have bothered you with my cooking, but now I'm back in action. So let me show you what is going on the screen. So I don't know if you can properly see that. Maybe. Sorry for the flicker of this. Sorry for the flickering screen. There is kind of a progress bar down here. So we see the model right here from the side, and the blue bar will get higher and higher over time in order to show us at which position in the model we currently are. Wait a second. Thanks 3D Possible for the 20 bucks. That is really enough for the steak, and it was so good. Thanks for sponsoring that. Cheers. Did I hollow out the models and add vent holes to allow the model to breathe? I have actually been using one of the, well, pre-delivered models that they have put on the SD card with supports added, so I did not hollow anything out on my own or add any holes. And if you're having other models that come from Thingiverse or something like that, this is really something you need to get used to, because it's, in my opinion, way harder to prepare models for this kind of 3D printing than it is for FDM 3D printing, because current slicers, Cura Slicer or Slick 3R and Simplify 3D, they enable you to more or less one-click print your models. They add automatic support structures, and most of the time, if you're using PLA, it's way enough to get a good-looking print in the end. But right here, you need to know how to add support structure. You need to know that you need to hollow out your parts. You need to know how that works in the first place, because this requires, I guess, quite some software skills. So, still at 7%. Thank you, love your stress analysis work. Thank you very much. I actually am planning to do more in that direction, because as I think already said in the videos, if you know how to use your tools, you can use the kind of free tools you get from Autodesk to make some pretty cool things. And stress analysis or well, topology optimization are just some of the things you can do there. Okay. Niklas, where in Germany am I? So I'm in the really more or less most southern part of Germany at the moment, where I'm streaming from. So we are at layer 68 of 860. And I still can't really judge if it is printing or if it is not printing. I think I'll try hitting the play button and see if that pauses the print in order that we can take a look if something is sticking to the build platform. But yeah, let's see. Have running task. No, that is not working, unfortunately. Damn it. So I think there is currently no way for us to take a look at the print platform. So more or less to pause the print to judge whether it's working or not, which is quite unfortunate. No, I can't actually hear something ripping from the fab, and this is making me a bit curious because I know that from the other machine I have that this was quite well hearable, but at the moment I just hear nothing. Might be a fail, yes. Any experience with models for metal molding, printing models for metal molding? So what I actually already did is I have made some more or less lost PLA aluminum casting where I just printed parts out of PLA, added risers, put everything into clay, dried that, burned it out, and then just filled it with liquid aluminum. There is also a special material from Polymaker which is called Polycast, which they claim even burns out better, but even with normal PLA prints you can just burn out the material quite well. If you are thinking about resin printing, there are special resins that which are called castable resins. They also burn out with very low amount of ash, and you can use that for metal casting your 3D prints. But this is, I think, not the easiest thing to do. You need to have the right clay or sand which goes on the outside of the part. You need to have a special oven to burn everything out. I haven't done that so far, and I don't know what exact materials you need for that. Andy Busy, there are wax-based filaments too. Yes, I have seen them already for purchase somewhere, and I have talked to somebody who has been working with that, but they were not really that happy with the results. So they had some issues with printing quality, and they are not so easy to deal with. As I said, printing parts in PLA, burning it out also works quite well. The thing with resin prints is that you have way higher details. So If you want to make jewelry with 3D printed positives, this is the technology for you. FDM 3D printing will always be way too coarse that you get these fine details. But there are quite a lot of companies who use FDM 3D printing for sand casting. And yeah, that is quite a nice thing because it just makes the process way faster. Yeah, you probably shouldn't use all the materials for burning them out. There are special ones, and even though you are using special ones, you should burn them out in a controlled environment where the gases that come out of that burning out process are filtered, because they can be quite toxic. PLA is a fairly clean burn, yes, and I think especially if you are using the ones which even don't have any pigments inside, because you don't have to burn these ones out, and the burnout process is even cleaner then. Tip, you can use DLP resin to coat FDM prints to remove layer lines. Yes, this is possible. You could use ABS and acetone smooth it. You can use Polymaker's polycast material and use their smoother or their polisher to polish the polycast material using isopropanol. And then you can get really nice looking casts out of that. Yeah, silicone molds can also be used, but they are only you can only use these ones with metals that have a real low melting point, because these silicone molds, they are good up to like 300 Celsius, but not much more than that. If you want to use aluminum for casting, you are at melting temperatures way above that, and silicone molds won't work there. Does this printer allow direct control via Repetier or something? This printer has a specific software delivered with it that you can use to control it. If you are buying the Pro version of this printer, it even has an LCD screen in the front, so you are probably able to just plug in a USB drive in the back and print your models that way. For this one, I have the control software here on my laptop, but it's not really that user friendly. And this is something where I'm really looking forward to what Joseph Prusa is doing, because he is more or less building a resin 3D printer just like this one with some additional smart features. But the thing which will set off his printer from cheaper Chinese ones is the integration with software. And if software becomes easier to use, these ones might become more popular, even though they horribly smell, to be honest, and are not the nicest ones to work with. All about 3D block. I think it's not good that the level screws dip into the resin. You could be right there. The resin level was even higher in the beginning, but I don't really have that much experience with these printers, so I did not know how much resin I need to pour inside. But I think it's still fine. I can clean them out later. Do you think the lack of automatic resin filling will be a problem on the new Prusa? As I said, I don't have lots of experience with these printers, but the amount of material you need, especially if you are hollowing out your prints, is quite small. So if you're not printing really huge prints, usually the amount of resin you can pour in one of these vats is plenty. But I could be wrong there. As I said, I don't have lots of experience with that. And busy. The SL1 has a sensor for low resin, so there may be an add-on for a resin pump. Are you sure that this sensor is for... Yeah, it's probably for low resin. I don't know if there will be an add-on for a resin pump, but I think at least it will stop at some point and say, okay, you need to refill resin and then continue with the print, which is pretty nice. What do you think about the toxicity problem of the resin? Like them being irritants. I hate working with these resins. I have to be totally honest with you. They smell, they are toxic, they are irritants. This is one of the reasons I just in general don't like to work with resin printers, and this is also one of the reasons why resin printing, in my opinion, is not that popular over FDM prints. Of course, FDM material like ABS, ASA, or others, they have also a nasty smell, but I don't know. If you are not working with these materials, there are lots of alternatives like PLA and PETG, which enable you to print in your office and print somewhere in your living space, which in my opinion is just not possible with one of these printers. You need to have a separate workshop for them. Better have them somewhere in your garage, which is far away from where you're living, because anything will smell. It might be smelly, but it's nice and quiet. It's kind of quiet. It is a bit noisy because there is a high power LED or even a couple of LEDs on the inside, and they have a cooling fan. So this printer is not less noisy than my Prusa Mark II, for example. Can you print ceramics only with SLA, SLS, I guess? I am not sure about that. I would think that it's also possible to print ceramics with such a printer, because you are not directly printing ceramics. It's I think ceramics particles mixed with normal resin, and later in the burnout and sintering process, the resin is burned out and removed, and you're just left with the ceramic part. And why shouldn't that also work on such a machine? How long until the resin dries out on its own in daylight, hours or days? So the parts you're getting out of there, if you are putting them into direct sunlight, it doesn't take more than a couple of minutes until they are totally cured. So this is an extra step you need to do, because otherwise the parts will remain quite tacky or sticky. But yeah, you can either just put them into the sunlight or buy yourself one of these cheap nail saloon UV lamps, under which you can put basically your parts after you're done. Or you are investing in a curing station, which Formlabs is selling, or also Prusa will be selling, where you have a dedicated UV lamp on the inside, which is coming where the light is coming from all of the directions, and you have a rotating table in there that you have a homogeneous curing process. And the Formlabs curing station even has a heater on the inside, because depending on the material you're working with, they cure better at elevated temperatures. David, why does it look like the SL1? So I think the SL1 just looks like all of the other printers in that category. The Formlabs printer started that orange color cover thing, and since it looks quite cool, many others have adapted that look, and I can say that they have copied the SL1, because I guess their product was on Kickstarter before Joseph announced the SL1. It's just how they look, and probably also how you as a user want them to look like. Oh, chat is really busy at the moment. Sienna was currently saying something about paste extruders. I also want to get into paste extruders for some projects, and I'm still looking for well, maybe some pre-finished ones, some on Thingiverse. If you know something or have already been using clay extruders, please send me a message. I would be really interested in how it worked out, and what kind of extruder you were using there. Sorry, wrong camera. TS 3D prints, are you doing anything in the kitchen lately? I don't know if you have just been joining, but we already had Prusa sous vide steak a couple of minutes ago. It was really good. Or, well, not we had, I had, and I had you watching. How's the print doing? Let me check. We are currently at 12%, 112 layers finished so far. Maybe a couple of more layers and we might be able to get a glimpse if it's working or not during the rising and getting down cycle. No, I'm wrong there. We don't know. We don't even know if there is a print. You are totally right, and I am a little scared that there is no print, because usually, if you are using one of these printers, you always hear this thin, clear film popping all of the time when the print platform more or less rips the part away from it. I don't hear anything at the moment, and that makes me a bit scared. I don't know. I think I'll wait for a couple of more layers and then I just call it quits. We take a look if something has printed, if we can clean it up a little, and I'll give you a conclusion about my first experience with that printer. But yeah, it's quite boring, so I'm happy if you guys are asking questions and I can help you out with something, because otherwise we might be stuck for even a bit longer and just watching the print beds rising and lowering and rising and lowering and all of that. All about 3D blog. Is it possible to pause the print? As far as I know, it's not possible. The only things I can do at the moment is just stopping the print all the way. And I guess we need to do that. And this is unfortunate because I think if you're printing something bigger, you want to print like 10, 15 layers, pause the print for a second, see if everything sticks, and then continue. Because if everything's sticking, these printers are pretty reliable, but if it's not sticking, you might need to wait for 1, 2, 3 hours until you see anything at all. Is the printer sealed? Well, there is no fan in here in the upper part, so it's kind of sealed. And if you are damaging your vat, the chance that resin is pouring into the electronics, I guess is small, but still there are some screws on the inside that are using for fixing the vats to the LCD screen, and maybe some resin could get in there, but yeah, it's okay. If your vat is damaged, it will be a mess anyways. Do you think there are any technologies that look like they might have the accuracy of SLA with the price of FDM? These machines aren't expensive either. You can get an Anycubic Photon for, I think, $500. The Prusa machine will be more expensive. It's like in the $1,500 range, but there aren't any really cheap ones, but they are still affordable. I think the bigger problem is that is there another technology with the same accuracy that is not as messy as working with resin. And as far as I know at the moment, I think there is not. There are SLS printers that use a laser and powdered plastic that is kind of not as messy as working with this, but you have the problem that the powder is quite expensive and the machine itself is quite expensive. So nah, I think if you want to have something accessible, which usually works, go with FDM. That's just the way to go at the moment. Trisha, does the kit include a resin basin emptying rack to get the resin back into the bottle after use? As far as I know, not. The manual tells me that there should be like a funnel included with which has a small sieve on the inside, but it wasn't in my kit. But as I said, this is a pre-production unit and that could change later. Have you used any SLA printers before? If so, do you have any prints to show off? Yes, I have used another one, which I also tried out in a live stream, which I kind of had the same experience with, and it smelled, it didn't look as nice as this one, but the software was horrible, and yeah, it didn't work out for me. So, but I think I threw the prints away a couple of weeks ago when I cleaned up in here. Just search for SLA prints on Google and you'll get pretty nice pictures. The thing is, this technology is perfect if you're making figurines, if you're making micro mechanics and things like these. But you have to be aware that this is a messy process. I've seen HP prototype that will work like FDM machines, but with resin and curing. And busy. Yes, I have also seen that machine last year on Formnext, and I think this year on Formnext in Frankfurt they will show their most recent version. They are using I think powder and binder. This machine looked great, the results looked great. HP, from their printing background, I guess they are the right company to get into that market, and this might be a quite disruptive technology that might compete with other more expensive 3D printing technologies in the near future. But still, the HP machine, or the professional HP machine that I have seen, was a couple of $100,000, so nothing for a consumer. Sorry for the tripod. Yeah, just tell me things like these. Yeah, $800,000. Nothing I can or will be able to afford in the future. Okay, guys. I think we are now almost 3 hours into that stream, and it is getting quite boring taking a look at the print platform, especially since I don't even know if something is building there. Since I can stop the print, since I can pause the print and take a look at the results, I think I'll stop it. We'll take a look if it has worked, and yeah, I'll give you a conclusion and we'll call it a day. Otherwise, it would just take way too long to get a final result. If I have printed more with that machine, I'm happy to post more pictures on Twitter. So if you guys are following me on Twitter, you might be able to see some print results there. Yes, so I will be stopping that print, and we will see, I think, in a second if we totally failed or if it at least worked and is just horribly slow. Okay. Are you sure you want to stop the current prints? Cannot be restored after stopping. Please be cautious. I'm sure. So let's see. I think it will finish. Yes, we have something. Ooh, it's going to be exciting. Okay, guys. So let me just grab another pair of gloves. And make the table a bit cleaner. So at least we already know, or what I can already see, that it has been printing. Yeah, as I said, we can't continue the print, but at least we can take a look at the result and how it looks like. The release mechanism is really nice. I finally understood how it works. So it's partly magnetic, and I can just use this lever here in the back, push it all the way down, and it releases the print platform. And the result looks really nice. So I'll just wait a second until all of the resin has poured down back into the vat. I don't know if the camera is focusing, but just give me 1 second. Sorry. I'm using a bit of isopropanol. To clean everything up, and if you look at the results, it printed. It looks very nice, to be honest. At least everything we have printed so far. Especially, can you see all of the small supports? So it's working, it's just horribly slow. I need to check if there is the possibility to, I don't know where I can put it to rinse off, because this is, nah, that's not nice. Let's close this back up. And let me show you my glove. Everything is covered with resin, which is really nasty. Ui. All right, guys. Let's put that camera down here. Oops. Okay, and pull the plug. Okay. Anything in chat? All right. So I guess that is it for today. I have been taking a look at the DAZZ 3D SLA 3D printer that is currently on the Kickstarter. What was my experience with it? So the housing, the enclosure is really nice. The print bed system looks really sturdy. The release mechanism is nice. It seems to work flawless mechanically. But the thing again that really bothered me is that the software is just horrible to use if you're using it the first time. I don't know, maybe you can get used to that. And working with resin is still messy and it still smells in here. Yeah. So, would I recommend that printer? I don't know. It works. The results look nice. I don't see that it does many things differently to already existing machines, like, for example, the Anycubic Photon or other printers in that category. Software is still the problem. They seem to have done something on their own. But still it's not as user-friendly as, for example, Cura is or Simplify 3D is. If you want to get into making figurines for your Dungeons and Dragons pen and paper role-playing games, or I don't know if I even can say that name, Warhammer, if you want to make figurines for Warhammer, this might also be a really nice machine. It's on Kickstarter. If the Kickstarter works out, you might get a really nice machine for a low price, but you always run into the risk that the Kickstarter, even though they get their money, they are not delivering what they have pledged, so you could lose all your money. So that's for that reason I am not 100% sure if I can recommend that. You have to decide on your own. You have seen a little bit how it works. As I said, mechanically it's really nice. The Pro version might be even nicer with the automatic dosing system, with the filter that they include, with the LCD screen, which this one is really lacking. Yeah, I think the Kickstarter campaign still runs for 10 days. Take a look at it. If you find it interesting, you can pledge your money there. You can otherwise buy a Anycubic Photon, or even wait for the new Prusa SL1, which hopefully might be released in December. Yeah, I guess this is it. Leave a thumbs up, helps me out. Helps me out. If you don't know yet, I have actually started a podcast together with Thomas Sanladerer, where the first episode had been released yesterday. It is available on the Melt Zone podcast YouTube channel, and should be also available for your podcast app. It should be available maybe tomorrow also on iTunes. We want to do that as a regular series. We would really like to have your feedback for the first episode. It's not perfect, but I think it still shows in which direction we want to go. If you guys have any suggestions or comments, leave them there at the podcast. If you have further questions about that printer, you can post them as soon as this video goes in the normal archive. I really enjoyed having you here. 3 hours is also kind of okay for me. I'm not already totally dumb in my head because this is quite strenuous. Yeah, again, thanks for having me. Thanks for spending your time on that Sunday night, at least for me. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Auf Wiedersehen.